Minister, Chairman, industry colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning and welcome to Tourism Industry Conference 2018. By now, most of you would be familiar with the record highs that we achieved in 2017 for tourism receipts and international visitor arrivals. The growth in total revenue of our hotel industry is evidence of a growing pie, even as more players enter our market. These results were only possible through our collective efforts between STB and industry, and I'd like to take this opportunity to applaud all of you for this achievement. Annual results can be useful indicators, but it is often only when we take a longer perspective, say a 5-year perspective, that we can discern underlying forces and trends. When you are immersed in the day-to-day of managing your business or promoting tourism, it's easy to miss the larger forces at play that are driving change in our sector. Just consider some of the disruptions to our sector in recent years. Expansion of the Asian middle class, millennial travel patterns, the sharing economy. There's a whole list of disruptions on the screen in front of you. And on their own, they can be disruptive, but coming together with several other trends, they can also pose challenges and opportunities for us. So this year, I decided to choose as a conference theme, Tourism in Transformation. The central message is really that our tourism sector is subject to waves of disruption. And we need to continue to adapt in tandem with this ever-changing environment. This change is taking place at the sectoral level, but it also needs to happen at the firm level as well as at the level of individual workers. I will discuss 5 thematic shifts that have marked this transformation journey. These same shifts also contain cues for companies to respond to if they wish to remain competitive. In terms of demand for travel to Singapore, we can think in terms of 3 shifts. Firstly, we've had to adjust our strategies with regard to our source markets. And secondly, in order to stay competitive, we have to differentiate Singapore through vibrant events and authentic content. Thirdly, we have marketed and told the Singapore story in new and innovative ways. If you think of things from the supply side or from the industry perspective, we can talk about 2 shifts. Firstly, in response to manpower constraints and changing consumer trends, we have worked with you to enhance productivity, embrace innovation, and transform your businesses. And secondly, I would also like to talk about how we have made investments in data and technology in order to support the industry's efforts to harness digital opportunities. So let me now elaborate on the first shift, which is about new market opportunities. If you look at our top 3 markets in 2017, China, Indonesia, and India, they contributed 7.5 million international visitor arrivals. But 10 years ago, these 3 markets only contributed 3.8 million. This doubling of visitors does not happen magically on their own. We had to figure out how we were going to take advantage of that growing middle-class population in these 3 countries. We had to protect our base by investing in their Tier 1 cities, but we also had to deepen our engagement efforts in secondary cities and expand the appeal of Singapore to new segments in these markets. For example, when we identified Chongqing as a secondary Chinese city with potential, we entered that market in collaboration with Changi Airport. Apart from joint promotional efforts and destination branding campaigns, we ensured a sustained cultivation process with the trade through a series of product updates and familiarization trips. As a result of these efforts, we grew Chongqing arrivals by more than 3-folds, from 44,000 in 2014 to 146,000 in 2017. Another source of growth opportunity has been India, and cruising has been a significant driver for us in helping to grow this Indian market. Today, India is our top market for cruise arrivals, and Indian cruise passengers in 2017 grew 25% year-on-year. We've been very active promoting cruises out of Singapore to the Indian market. For example, we partnered with Cruise Lines International Association, or CLIA, to train close to 400 travel agents in Delhi, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad. These sessions equip the agents with the necessary product knowledge and skill sets to sell Singapore and Southeast Asia to the cruise market in India, including tips on how you might sell that pre- or post-cruise experience. Now, apart from building a pipeline of visitors from our top source markets, we also need to invest in emerging markets. And our experience in Vietnam shows us that it's important sometimes to invest early to reap benefits. In the early 2000s, we saw the potential of Vietnam as a source market, and so STB set up its Vietnam office in 2003. This was aimed at allowing us to start to cultivate trade relationships, consumer relationships, and media partnerships. These efforts have paid off because in 2017, visitor arrivals from Vietnam to Singapore expanded from what was 44,000 when we first entered the market. It expanded tenfold to reach over 500,000 last year. I've spoken a little bit about Asian markets, but long-haul markets also present opportunities fueled by expanding connectivity and new gateways to Singapore. Non-stop services to the US from airlines like SIA and United give us a chance to tap more on this more mature and affluent market. And we can also take advantage of additional direct connections between Europe and Singapore. With the return of Qantas Sydney-London services via Singapore, we have inked an STB, CAG, and Qantas partnership to drive arrivals to and through Singapore from key markets in Australia, the UK, and Southeast Asia. To get a clearer understanding of where our opportunities lie and who we are attracting, do join the market breakout sessions later today. Those will delve deeper into some of these markets. So the takeaway from this shift is that growth opportunities are dynamic across markets as well as within markets. And we have to keep our pulse firmly on the ground in order to keep abreast of the new opportunities. STB will continue to invest in our ground game through our network of regional offices so that we can support the growth of your tourism business. The second shift that I'd like to talk about this morning is that we have had to differentiate Singapore from the competition in the region and appeal to quality tourists, our target segments. Global outbound growth has been strong, but the competition for tourists is also strong and intensifying. We are witnessing a trend of tourists who are looking to travel as a form of personal transformation and growth. So we must differentiate the Singapore experience by continuously developing compelling content propositions that will distinguish us from others. Now, last year, I mentioned that as a more mature tourism city with limited land for too many major new developments, we have to invest more on events and lifestyle offerings, even as we continue to invest strategically in hardware and infrastructure. We've been aggressively curating a vibrant events calendar. We have supported over 900 events in the last 5 years. And today, our events calendar is packed with diverse experiences to surprise and delight even our repeat visitors. One such event is the Anime Festival Asia, which we first supported in 2008. It's grown to become the signature Southeast Asia event for Japanese pop culture today. And this year, they celebrate their 10th anniversary. Let's hear from Sean Chin, who's the founder of the event company behind AFA.
I couldn't ask for a better place to start my business than Singapore. I think Singapore presents itself as a very conducive environment. Everything you need, everything that you want is in place. That frees me up to basically...
A newer homegrown event that has also grown quite nicely is the Singapore Cocktail Festival. It will be held in conjunction with the inaugural Asia's 50 Best Bars award ceremony next month, and it complements and supports the fast-maturing Singapore cocktail bar scene. Last year, I told you about our 3-year partnership with Disney that allows us to tap on their Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar IPs to create special events for Singapore. Just last evening, the stars of Marvel Studios' Avengers: Infinity War, such as Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch, were at the Infinity War red carpet fan event And if you were on social media last night, you would have seen all the buzz that accompanied the talents that were in Singapore for this event. Now, in this second year of the partnership with Disney, we are bringing some exciting Marvel-themed events to Singapore, including the upcoming Marvel Studios 10 Years of Heroes exhibition at the Art Science Museum, where you can experience the world of Marvel superheroes. And there'll be more Marvel events lined up for the rest of the year to be announced when ready. Events augment your value proposition to drive visitation. Sorry, let me take a step back. So STB has been active in terms of driving events for Destination Singapore. But we feel very strongly that you, as industry, must do your part too. In fact, our point of view is that everyone, whether you're an attraction, whether you're a mall, whether you're a hotel, you should also have an event strategy, because events can augment your value proposition to drive visitation to your property or to your precinct. Events have the advantage of being able to respond nimbly to changing consumer trends, and they can be refreshed easily. So they can be a worthwhile investment if done right to generate even better returns from your fixed assets. Let me share with you some examples. Resorts World Sentosa has been strengthening their lifestyle offerings to drive visitation to their resort. They've organized new events, blending food and entertainment, such as the Great Food Festival and RWS Street Eats. For Universal Studios Singapore, the Halloween Horror Nights has become a much-anticipated annual event for horror fans. Let's hear from two other stakeholders who have used events and programming to their advantage.
Singapore Zoo has delighted countless visitors with our wildlife experiences to inspire them to appreciate nature and conserve biodiversity.
Beyond seeking experiential travel experiences, tourists are also looking for authenticity, and they're looking for things that are local that they can engage with and maybe bring home. Last year, we announced that STB, together with Enterprise Singapore and JTC, will be developing Design Orchard to support Singapore's design talent and profile their products in the heart of Orchard Road. It opens by the end of this year. Design Orchard will house a retail showcase operated by homegrown company NICE, and incubator spaces to support local designers in capability development and internationalization. We've held an open call for designers' participation in Design Orchard. This was done between November last year and February of this year. And more than 100 brands have stepped forward to indicate their interest to be part of this exciting new enterprise. Singaporeans have also taken the initiative to create unique experiences, such as at Sunrise Global Chef Academy graduate Gan Ming Kiet, who started a weekend pop-up called Mustard Seed, and self-taught chef Shen Tan, who recently opened her home to launch a supper club series called Own Self-Made Chef. There's a healthy demand for brands with a distinct local flavor. And through our surveys, we have seen a growth of more than 26% in visitor spending in souvenirs, gifts, confectionery items last year. A very popular food item with locals as well as visitors is the Irvin's salted egg chips. I'm sure that you have either seen the extremely long queues or the empty sold-out counters. Now, STB is supporting players who want to create souvenirs and confectionery that are well-packaged and representative of Singapore through the Experience Step Up Fund. For example, the farm store developed a series of pillows that features 5 different iconic skylines of Singapore, including Esplanade and Gardens by the Bay. And this adds to their range of locally inspired products. Through the support of such efforts, we hope to delight our visitors with an even greater array of quality souvenirs, products from local brands, so that they can bring home a piece of Singapore with them. The second aspect of transformation in tourism is a reminder that we have to constantly rethink our value proposition and competitive positioning in relation to consumer trends. Beyond the memories and the souvenirs that visitors can bring home, we also need to continue to tell the Singapore story in a better way to engage prospective and repeat visitors. So this brings me to the third shift, which is about how marketing and branding for Singapore tourism has to evolve. A great Singapore story starts with a great brand. And last year, we introduced a new brand for Singapore. Not just a new brand, but a new type of destination brand. Many others still describe their destinations with adjectives, but we decided to use passion made possible to capture the spirit, attitude, and story of Singapore. We launched Passion Made Possible in August last year with EDB and MCI, and together with some of you, we then took the brand on a roadshow to launch it in 15 markets globally. Let's take a look at some of these efforts.
This new brand is a very big transformational shift. It brings up the essence of what Singapore is. Its people, its spirit, its authentic.
As you can see, Passion Made Possible was well received by tourism stakeholders, by the media and the consumers that we engaged with. They found the new brand refreshing and inspiring, making Singapore better stand out from other destinations. We've also continued to strengthen the new brand through various partnerships and achieve an accumulated reach of almost 500 million through our efforts in the last 7 or 8 months. You will notice that we are featuring more Singaporean faces in our visuals and telling more of their individual stories as well. In fact, for the brand launch, we worked with more than 100 Singapore talents in our new brand campaign and proudly featured quite a few of them in our in-market activations, such as the Singapore Weekender in Mumbai. This event in Mumbai was held at Sassoon Docks, which is the largest fish market in southern Mumbai. And for that festival, it was transformed into an exciting site with art, music, and dance components. And we were very proud to bring over 7 Singaporean talents, which included DJ Koflo, who performed for us earlier today. We've also worked with Sentosa Island stakeholders to feature their staff and feature their personalities, such as Chef Sam Leong and his son Joe Leong, flowboarder Melissa Camille, and senior arborist Daniel Sia, who is known as Sentosa's tree doctor. We'll tell the stories of these Sentosa ambassadors in markets like Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, and Indonesia, as we invite visitors to experience their passions on the island. Everyone has a part to play in marketing Destination Singapore. Last year, we worked with Singapore Airlines to creatively market and profile Destination Singapore. If you have taken an SQ flight recently, you would have seen the new in-flight safety video, featuring picturesque shots of our destination. This video has also been seen by more than 5.7 million viewers online. In dialing up this aspect, SIA has further entrenched their brand in the minds of their customers, while concurrently also promoting Singapore and Singapore's appeal. So we feel that with all your great ideas and all your great products and marketing abilities, we want to encourage you to also market and feature Singapore as part of your consumer outreach plan. Therefore, we are continuing with the Marketing Innovation Program. This is a program that we started last year, and the pilot was launched to warm response. We received many submissions. In the end, we selected 3, one from Accor Hotels, one from Millennium Hotels and Resorts, and one from Wildlife Reserve Singapore for support. You see, we assessed that they were deserving of additional international marketing resources because they were promoting Singapore in as much as they were also promoting their own brands. I'll invite you to take a look at the marketing showcase outside and attend the breakout session later to find out more how your brand can be part of this as well. It's important for us to work jointly to market Singapore as a team. Now, many of you attended, or some of you will have attended the marketing conference that STB organized in January for the first time. And this conference is actually part of a larger initiative that we are doing to invest in the training and development capabilities of STB, as well as our industry stakeholders. I'm glad to announce that the STB Marketing College will now be available to Singapore-registered tourism stakeholders from the second half of this year. And you can access online courses on the go. You can also look forward to the marketing conference annually for tourism marketing best practices and innovations. So together, we can successfully navigate the transformation in tourism marketing. I'd like now to move to the supply side perspective. In today's theme, where we talked about tourism and transformation, tourism businesses in Singapore have had to make some adaptations in response to market opportunities, as well as policy shifts. After some years of working with owners and managers of our hotels to invest in productivity, solutions, and skills upgrading, we have started to see more traction and a growing momentum for change in the Singapore hotel industry. More than 50%, more than half of the hotels which opened in 2017 adopted RFID to manage their linens, uniform, or assets. And at the same time, STB also supported more than 10 hotels to adopt robotics for front and back of house usage. We've seen some encouraging results as a result of these efforts. The hotel industry manning ratio, for example, which is determined by the number of staff against the number of hotel rooms, has fallen from 0.67 in 2014 to 0.58. If you apply this ratio to our stock of 67,000 hotel rooms, you're talking about a net saving of some 6,000 workers in the hotel industry. That means that we are able to do more with less. And over the last 3 years, the hotel industry's nominal productivity growth has been about 3% a year, which is very creditable indeed. Companies that continually revisit their business model and invest in new capabilities will have the best chance of navigating disruptions in the external environment. Starting from its roots as a booth construction and design company, Kingsman Creative has evolved their business to take advantage of new trends and opportunities. They recently announced that they are partnering with Hasbro, the largest toy maker in the world, to open the Nerf brand of family entertainment centers. And they will do this in the Asia Pacific, but starting with Singapore from 2019. Let's hear from CEO Andrew Cheng about the Kingsman story.
I think the rise of technology has made information more readily accessible.
Another player who is prepared to adapt and innovate amidst the rise of global online players and changing consumer preferences is Anywhere. Anywhere is a travel agent that specializes in surprise trips, where customers only know of their travel destination when they go to the airport. This is a proposition that is apparently gaining traction. With the support of STB, such as through the Business Transformation Through Train program, travel agents can consult one-to-one with subject matter experts to generate and refine their ideas. And we hope that more travel agents will take advantage of this and go beyond a mere ticketing service to be designers of travel experiences. What about tours? When I was a student in London in the 90s, I noticed that London offered a fantastic range of walking tours, catering to all kinds of niche interests. I did wonder then, why did we not have as vibrant and creative a range of tours in Singapore? Well, it's heartening to know now that there are more niche tours in Singapore, such as the Next Gen Hawker Tour. This culinary tour brings participants closer to third-generation hawkers and hawkerpreneurs, where they can get to hear stories about keeping the hawker tradition alive through the preservation or reinvention of local dishes. With the amended Travel Agent Act in effect since January this year, I'm hopeful that we will see more new and innovative walking tours that will showcase interesting aspects of Singapore to our visitors. So innovation is becoming a buzzword and a bit of a habit for more and more of our industry partners. Last year, we launched the Inaugural Innovation Challenge for the hotel industry as well as for the travel agent industry. And what this challenge did was to bring together members from our industry together with technology players to co-create solutions. This helped our industry stakeholders to frame their business challenges and crowdsource solutions from a pool of technology solutions providers. Once they settle on concepts which they want to move forward with, we then look at it, and we have selected and provided support to some 23 projects to support for test bidding. Let's hear about the change journeys of some of these participants.
We started off in the logistics sector with our involvement with STB, that we ventured into the tourism sector. And right now, we are helping hotels with the live tracking.
We will also be introducing innovation challenges to the MICE industry. So that's something that our MICE industry colleagues can look forward to in time to come. STB is committed to support your transformation journey so that tourism growth results in sustainable business growth and the creation of good jobs for Singaporeans. The last shift that I want to talk about is about how we can take advantage of technology and data to transform ourselves. Last year, I shared with you that STB is building the Tourism Information and Services Hub, or TIH. TIH is an integrated B to B to C platform to help businesses connect, collaborate, and syndicate tourism information and services in real time. I'm happy to tell you today that TIH is live and has been live for a few months now. TIH addresses an industry need to have more up-to-date information about our tourism offerings and to have a one-stop source to find out what's happening in Singapore, what the opening hours are, what the walking trails are that might be available, the latest deals, etc. So TIH fulfills this need by aggregating tourism content and travel-related services and making this available to any local or international stakeholder through application programming interfaces, or APIs. These APIs allow any industry player to power your own apps, your own websites, with the latest content and smart services from TIH. And this gives our industry a competitive edge to quickly build compelling and deep experiences of Singapore. The ability for a stakeholder to create a piece of content, upload it to TIH, and instantly have it syndicated to millions of visitors and businesses in Singapore and around the world is the first of its kind in the world. Homegrown business Hungry Go Where is already on board TIH and is among one of our highest contributors of content to date, with more than 500 points of interest. They understand that TIH is an essential channel that will increase awareness and reach of their content and drive conversions for their business. On the other end, we have a company like Buffalo Tours, which is already drawing content from TIH. They're based in Vietnam and they operate in 11 Asian destinations, including Singapore. And they have shared with us that without TIH, the collation of information they require, the collection of content about Singapore is done manually, and that was time-consuming and labor-intensive. But with TIH, they can find what they need and discover new content in one place and be relatively confident that it's up to date. Now, how much will TIH cost you? Other than your own efforts, nothing. Because it's free. It's free to access, it's free to use. If you are a company and you want to develop a website or an app, you can be spending up to $50,000 a year to do so. TIH allows for free, direct access to a wealth of the latest tourism content and services. Services such as the navigation function can be directly drawn from TIH to your website or app at no additional cost. We've also been working on something we call STAN, the Singapore Tourism Analytics Network, STAN, STAN. STAN stores and analyzes all our tourism data, from visitor arrivals to modes of travel, to spending and movement patterns, to website traffic, hotel industry information, and much, much more. It empowers our staff to conduct customized business analysis and ultimately make data-driven decisions. And some of the insights using geoanalytics, you can also check out for yourself at the showcase outside. STAN has been rolled out to STB staff, has been made available to you, and will be made available to you in future phases. To pave the way, STB has entered into data partnerships with industry members like Gardens by the Bay, Sentosa, Wildlife Reserve Singapore, and Expedia. And recognizing the importance and criticality of data privacy, and to encourage more data sharing between us in a climate of confidence, we have published our Data Trust Charter to underline our commitment to responsible data sharing and usage between STB and stakeholders. As our understanding of technology matures, we will discover new ways that it can help us either do our job better or create a better customer experience. For example, we are all familiar with GPS and navigation apps and how they have transformed travel and transportation, both when we are at home in Singapore as well as when we travel. A new generation of indoor positioning technology now promises to help us find our way in enclosed areas as well. Suntec has started mapping their premises for indoor positioning. With Suntec mapped, any visitor or business delegate can accurately locate themselves within Suntec and find their way around. It also enables others to build interesting apps and services on top of this capability. There is so much more that STB wants to share than I can possibly cover within this opening presentation. So I would encourage you to visit the technology showcase outside and see how you can tap on the capabilities of TIH and STEND. And also attend our breakout sessions later on data and technology. There's also one on MICE and on marketing for a more in-depth look at some of these topics. So let me wrap up. In case you have not noticed, Singapore tourism has undergone some serious transformation in recent times. My bet is that the future holds even more change and disruption, and that it will come at us at an even faster rate. The upshot of this is that we have to be continuously adapting and changing too, lest we be left behind or we're out of step. I've sketched out some 5 shifts at the sectoral level, and these are themes which I feel are also applicable at the enterprise level or even at the individual level. For example, you could ask of yourself, where is the demand for your services coming from? Are you constantly upgrading your value proposition? Do you have an engaging enterprise story or personal brand? Are you being as productive, innovative, and efficient as you can be? And are you investing to take advantage in new technology and data analytics? We have made good progress over the past few years, but the transformation of the tourism sector is a continuous journey that we have to undertake together, be it at the sectoral, enterprise, or individual levels. As the sector champion, STB is committed to drive the changes necessary to support you in your respective transformation journeys. Singapore is well placed to take advantage of the growth in travel and tourism in this part of the world. We are competing from a position of strength. So let us work together to ensure that passion made possible is as much a descriptor of our future as it is of our history. Thank you very much.